Yay. We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday book launch. Tonight we have our dear friend Gary Thomas, and we're going to be hearing from Oh Yes, We Breathe. I am very excited to see everybody's face. We are heading towards Christmas, and I know everybody's busy, so your presence here is an extra dedication towards poetry and the celebration of Gary's newest book. I'm going to, rather than doing a bio, Gary, I actually thought I would read some comments on Oh Yes, We Breathe, because I really like the overview, and I hope that that works well for everyone. If you don't already have the book, I'm pretty sure you'll want to order it. But I love this insight into Oh Yes, We Breathe. Oh Yes, We Breathe is a collection of earthborn connections, a ragged inquiry into our commonalities and yearnings as humans. And if that doesn't sound like Gary's poems, I don't know what does. Divided into 4 sections: hard news and kittens and trees, if memory serves, liaisons ordinaires, and ready to step into waves. These poems address current events, the acts of recollection and reminiscence, mortal to mortal relationships, and unexpected spiritual encounters and connections. Embedded and resting at rock bottom in this landscape of dusty farms, remnants from news and history, summonings of childhood scraps and souvenirs, and arguments for and within love, is the awareness that each of us matters simply because of what we all share. That's such a great introduction for you to me, Gary. Thank you so much for being here and letting us celebrate you tonight.
Thank you, Malika.
Gonna spotlight you.
Oh, thank you. So this is the book. Wait a minute, I'm hearing my wife's mic downstairs, I think. But anyway, that's what the book looks like, and I am grateful for being here and grateful for you for being here. I'm also grateful to Manzanita Writers Press for publishing the book, and to Tama Brisbane, who is the former poet laureate from Stockton, California, and Kai Coggin, we all know Kai, and Lee Herrick, who is the current California State Poet Laureate. I'm going to start in an unusual place. I'm going to start by reading the last poem in the book. It's called Widdershins, which is a North England term for mean going against the grain or counterclockwise or doing something unexpected or having something unexpected happen to you, which is our life as a poet, right? Widdershins. I cleave time to read some poetry not my own, as ripe lemons droop and thrash in the rain from their spiky branches, thin as green twine. The pewter and white cat who wishes to live here peers in through the sliding glass door, almost trustful. Puckered recycling bins lean askew in the street, awaiting the next serrated gust to right them. Wind chimes peal for some chance to celebrate, while other musics make themselves out of velocity and open tuning. Motley colored mini lights, hammer strung to our house's stucco, hold their own against today's downpour. Black cotton masks fester in each downstairs room, plus 3 in each sedan. Not enough. Today, courage looks like breathing through any layers compassion and anticipation can't crack. I wrote this poem backwards and forwards like a prayer to poetry not my own. And this is the first poem in the book, which was written in my brother-in-law's in New Mexico's living room, where if you got up before anybody else in the house, you're going to be lighting fire in the wood stove for heat. A fire starter. Shivering in early morning next to the old stove, you build a fire out of juniper and yesterday's news. The aroma of sparks assures you there is a future for you. Your backbone slips into place. So do your eyes, which just now fix on some snowbirds escaped from your soul's sockets. You stretch your handful of seeds to them, and they come to feed. The stove starts tapping its code of heat and hope, its need for another log. You catch. This next poem is about that intersection between news and history, or what we, some of us, think history and news are. Children's Crusade. We know now that what we were told had happened in the year 1212 was a myth, and there was no deluge of children who believed seas would part so they could saunter to our remote Holy Land, where they would be welcomed like kin, but instead were sold into slavery or died along the way, then vanished or ascended. Now they cross our river, and we're afraid, which is the actual problem, not that they are children alone escaping something worse than the journey, and we're anxious that they might breathe too much of our pilgrim proud air, eat too much of our food that their cousins to the north stooped and harvested to shoulder us out of a land we waged war upon to keep to ourselves. So we are afraid of children who might get too close, who might stay next door, who might grow up safe. And this is for my poem for future generations. Stars and garters, once upon. Those of you in the 31st century, or 22nd, if we don't make sense of this one, might like to know what we used to say when we were astonished or wanted to tell a story about when we gasped. Strike that. Hello, humans. If you have no hope of centuries ahead, or just about remember what a century was once, upon all the stars that are left, I swear we were still working with some astonishment at sussing out why ice melted and winters brought us toads and boils. When we went to zoos and museums, when there were zoos and museums, we gasped at macaws, gaped at Rothko's scarlets and blacks, felt smug we could draw analogies and a Big Dipper on a beer mat. We said crazy a lot, whether we adored or despised someone, something, a verdict, a Mars mission, anything we might have to spend time imagining, determining, making amends over. We watched televised competitions in fashion, haute cuisine, cupcakes, candy sculpture, pottery, swordcraft, prosthetic makeup, tattoos, and well, anything because it was on. We knew the names of contestants and which season they lost or which piece of dreck made them stars. If there had been a post-wedding challenge to sew and launch the bluest garter, we'd have saved its date for its premiere. Some of us got PhDs for research on embolalia and could sing arias of uhs, likes, and you knows with a no problem coda. A few of us dropped ew and cute into any book club or bar crawl discourse to nods and chuckles, and everyone knew that viral or Zoom were last year's buzz. We were so adept, so absorbed, so incognizant. If there's still history when you are, you know something of us, that love was here, along with knees on necks, that flop sweat thudded and a still small voice prodded, and we have tried. We have tried to do something better than what we knew. Just that, as Hirschfield wrote, we did not enough. Could be you're the happy ending. Maybe you'll be the ones to amaze the universe, make it drop its cosmic jaw and chuckle at its own irony. Oh, my stars. This is my holiday poem. It's actually also it's about my first celebrity crush, if you don't count Annette Funicello. Uh, Tell your grandchildren about Annette sometime. Uh, it also features a fella named Leonard Sly. Leonard Sly changed his name. So this is called, oh, it's based on a black and white photograph, I should say, that I still have. Christmas morning in my Roy Rogers bathrobe. I suspend an argyle sock half filled with an orange and some Brazil nuts in one hand, a box of Roy Rogers classy brand spurs in the other. The bulk of my other presents draped over a dining room chair have the same theme. King of the Cowboys, double cap pistol and holster set, waxed black boots, matching vest and chaps with a branding iron hieroglyphics motif. Here is joy itself and an overwhelm of what will be once the debris has been double checked for anything left over. When I can finally go outside and be Roy and an outlaw simultaneously. Aroma of oak blaze from the fireplace my father made, blent with unbaled alfalfa in troughs, and phosphorus from scarlet roll caps ignited in the Greystone Yule air. I am king cowboy of this meager ranch, where my family wrangles peaches and dairy cows. My hands never tire of squeezing the triggers of both dark pistols, listening for the cheap metal clicks and cracks just after, shameless, guileless, unaware of what this will mean later, when bittersweet blood sprouts in my mouth from gnawing my cheek in fear, when sour howls ascend from other throats as they grieve for me, when one, then both parents are gone. And what remains is this black and white reminder of one overgifted Christmas morning, a fantasy built from parents' naive benevolence, and a child's gullible faith in happy trails, sung by a blithe spring cowboy named Leonard Sly. Click. I was at my local university and I asked a group of college students, how many of you have ever heard the term gully washer? And not a hand went up, except for some of the professors. A gully washer, when I was growing up on the peach farm, meant a rain so fierce it would wash out all the gullies, or the levees my dad and I had built up on our peach orchard. Gully washer. I heard it any time the rivers rose, the levees broke, the orchard contorted into Bunyan's slough of despond. Yep, that's a real gully washer. Any 4 in the morning, from election day to April Fools, I could figure to be stirred from my flannel sheets to see my father's face tell me, grab a shovel. Dig fast and strong. Follow him to the fields. And I did. Shore up, shore up. Follow the lead edge of your last shovelful, and I would, because it mattered to him and was mattering to me, till the levee held fast against the surge, and I'd slog back to bed or brace my back against our rural route mailbox, wait for the diesel bluster of our school bus as it wallowed through puddles and road ponds left by the drench. I'd watch it plow the length of our road, cowcatch cataracts of froth and sludge into our neighbors' fields. When it slowed enough for its waves to ebb into ripples, I'd board, expecting to be bored by recess. The flood of noise and baloney at lunch, the absurdities of new math, some crumbs of luster, a poem in our basal readers, a song from the state approved American singer against the gully wash of grade school ennui. Capote called it a sky that stops, that sensible horizon of others' fear of more than this. This morning, my qualms of what comes next have receded, cleared enough to become mysteries. Forecasts augur cold and dry. Skies are boundless as I listen deep for that farmer's voice. Shore up, shore up. For those of you who remember April 2020, when we all had to stay inside and sanitize our groceries, things like that. The reasons I became a one-room shack this month, April 2020. At first, it was easy: eat, read, watch, listen, write, sleep, repeat in any order or not. Rustic, in that my wife tried to bake bread from a levain and we attempted to eat the whole wheat discus that thudded from the oven. Ah, and it's been downright cozy feeling my four walls, one carpet, and ceiling as they hug me closer by the hour. Tonight I snuck outside to catch the pink moon's perigee syzygy, begged it to hug me, kiss me with its full-on lunacy, but just missed the best parts of the ellipse. Sparrows, finches, and jays are just outside to be my flash mobs, mobilized by my broadcast of seeds and mealworms. You've read this far and wonder about the whys. They're the same becauses as yours. I'm old and infirm enough to catch it, and God gave me just enough brains to seek the shelter I've become. I'm pondering whether I should order lumber and glass to be delivered, or Lego kits if necessary, to add a rumpus room if this goes on much longer, stocked with Twister and Jenga, Risk and Sorry. Doubles as a Zen retreat. Namaste. Let me out of here. And the next couple of poems are about, well, relationships. I wish you were you. I wish you were you when the whispers swirled about you and you could not have cared any less than if they were raindrops disappearing down the gutters of our local mall. I wish bad men's monuments, comprised of equal parts tin and the Peter Principle, could be melted down into whistles, slinkies, and medals for the least harm done. I wish your words were Viewmaster reels, multidimensional, stereoscopic, compassionate as virtuous reality would allow, and all titled Welcome. I wish TikTok was nitrate film and would vanish like flash paper before the eyes of anyone who used them to watch cyberbullies lip sync a Kid Rock Republirant. I wish we were us again instead of our shadows. I wish you were the weather and here. I wish I were abundance. I wish our whispers swirled over these sheets. And this is a poem I wrote for my wife 25 years ago. Still true. Try this. Stare at her without wanting more time. Wake up anywhere, not wondering what she will do when she wakes. Walk along a dirt road, shell beach, hallway, unaware of her flesh sliding to your skin, joining, lingering at heart's center. Stand near jasmine or rose. Breathe through to the air she lives in, and do not dance to her pulse. Write about any of this and do it justice. This is a poem called Brood. I started, for some reason, searching what the etymological comparison was between the word brood and the word breath. And both of them at base have to do with heat and nurturing and maybe flame and maybe light. This is called Brood, which opens with an epigraph by one of my favorite philosophers, Woodrow Wilson Guthrie, who said, "Take it easy, but take it." We gather these breaths to us, cup or corral our acuities in, our sighings away from the kin by whom we assume we are adopted, to whom we have adapted. Our nest is in our lungs, where is room enough for each regard, each fancy to bring itself forth. We are made kindred by the air we take, Brethren, in fact, because we brood and dwell on each other's well-being. How long this takes to inhere, to be a house that holds each adherent secure and warm, then releases to a whirl so bone cold each breath can be seen, if only for a blink at the burning. We are sisters, too, in truth, nursing each other after that other first breath we draw. If all we ever have is what we trade invisibly in our halls of flesh and fluidity, we can learn to care for what we have. We can partake our full portion as family. We can breathe easy. This is a poem about letting go of things, the stuff that accumulates that you don't really need, but it's been there, and maybe you don't realize that it was there, or even how it got there, or even what it is. But this is called letting go gladly. Fare thee well, moose-sized mug from Vermont, you two jumbo flagons of embossed elephants, you recognition of service quartet of cups with 15, 20, 25, 30 years emblazoned, reminding us each morning how much coffee was required to survive 5 years at a time on the same job ad absurdum, as well as you lot, you round bottom pots and skillets warped by being plunged too soon into sick and tired dishwater. You all served your purposes passably, and we are beholden to every scald and crack you suffered on our behalf. Each stain you sustained, we never scrubbed enough to honor your worth. Enfin, please know we'd love to hold you, use you, see you where we sometimes remembered you belonged. Please accept our praise, such as it is. We are not mindful enough to have deserved you, so beg your pardon as we box you up to leave on the curbside. We console ourselves by supposing nothing and no one is irreplaceable. In due time, our cracks and crinkles will undo us, and we will be left in some container, drained of whatever we held that was useful here, still glad we were here long enough. And let's see, I've got a couple more. This is the poem that gave the book its title, and it started out as a Fibonacci riff on a Fibonacci poem, but sadly, a Fibonacci poem won't fit on a 6x9 format. So this is just a poem. A respiration. Oh, yes, we breathe in a circle built of just before loss and what becomes of us as some light pries steadily into our long, stubborn clutch on our grief like a diploma, till we can undo our dark surety, let go of dear death, risk a soul as yet unsteady, unfamiliar, unshaped, unloved. Soon enough, although not as we would have it, gratitude exhales its anima and we heal, or at least inhale daybreak, built of just common grace, circling and settling like prayer. Oh, yes. And I'll close with a poem that was requested by Christy Williams. It's a newer poem. I've been playing with uh, persona poems, and this is one of those. And it's sort of a conversation between two fellows of a certain age trying to remember the lyrics to a song. It's called Cool Whip in My Hair. Nah, man, for the last time, it's not "'Scuse me while I kiss this guy" or "There's a bathroom on the right." Jimmy and Fogarty wouldn't put the shuck on you like that. Get yourself some better car speakers or knock back your lobes, some Beats or Boses to wrap around your brain box. Consider cochlear implants, or at least deaf aids that don't look like Dr. Seuss designed them. Elevate your ears, Einstein. Echolocate the elegance inside each lyric and use context clues. Why, in 7 spiraling sapphire serendipities, would a song that starts on a dark desert highway be followed by Cool Whip in my hair? Get a grip, for goddesses' sakes, and pick the mondegreens out of your word salad. Hearken or be humbled. Done and done, sir. Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air, coming in crystal. Thousands cheer. Went for Bang and Olufsen instead of Bose beats for my oracle antennae, not for the prestige embedded in bigger bucks, but 'cause more clever syllables now waft in through my oral caverns and dance dirty as anybody'd ever need a bump and grind to be. Clarity, I'm saying. Clarté. And concerning what to call it when a superlative song takes all your breath and leaves you in love with deft weddings of notes and words, when voice and pause and joy and rumble levitate you, no doubt, sure thing, so's you still believe the next verse will answer all questions. Au fait audio techs will be glad to tell you their term for what's been produced is beyond improvement, whether you've heard the words right or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the perfect one to end on. Chrissy, I'm so glad you suggested that one or requested that one. People, if you want to unmute and just take a moment to say thank you so much, Gary. That was a blast.
Thank you, Gary. Yes.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes.
Thanks, Gary. We'll see you in a
So
couple
amazing.
days.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
this
you.
is the brother-in-law of whom I spoke.
Ah,
We'll be
This is
gathering around
Ken
his
and
wood
Patty of the
stove.
infamous New Mexico
Yeah.
gathering.
Yes.
That's fabulous.
Can't wait.
Me neither. Looking forward.
that
We'll-
was wonderful.
We'll sing some songs together.
Well, you know me. I my voice is like Leo Kotke's voice. He described his voice as sounding like geese farts on a muggy day. So anyway, looking forward. Anyway,
That's
thank
gonna
you,
stick with
Monica.
me. Thank you
This
for
was
that.
so spectacular. Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
Yeah,
This
Yeah.
was awesome.
very good.
Glad I got in. I finally did.
Oh,
I couldn't find the link anywhere.
I'm glad you did, Bunny.
I am too.
It took us a while to get into.
Did it
Oh.
really?
Just a little
Okay.
bit, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I think sometimes scrolling down to find it can be a challenge, but I'm glad y'all made it.
well, listen, I'm going to throw this thing up in the interest of the Department of Shameless Commerce.
Ah, okay.
Hang on. So, I am selling the new book, Oh Yes, We Breathe, for 20, and my previous book, All the Connecting Lights, for 15, or you can buy both for 30. If you want to take a look at my address, if you want to send money that way.
I'm just gonna take a picture of.
Okay.
So I
That's
Best way to
have.
do it, Catherine.
Yeah.
So there's my address and email address. And if you want to pay for the book by Venmo, payments to me at gmilton1929. And there's the QR code. And let me know when you want me to take that down.
I'm
Yeah, give
probably
people a
gonna.
moment to.
Because I'm
Copy.
paranoid about security, I'm
Yeah.
wondering, Gary, whether you want Malika to stop the recording and not have this on the recording because it's got, like, aside from the
I
Appreciate
will
it.
see if I can clip it. If I can't clip it, maybe you can help me, Shamala.
Yes, no problem. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Just
Because
the
I hadn't
hackers
thought
are
about
out. It's
that.
Christmas, so.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
want to hear
smart.
some more poetry. I want to hear
Well,
some
at
poetry
first,
from
Well,
if
you
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 all.
don't
could
mind,
keep
Gary, I
reading
wanted to
and
make
we'd be
sure
happy.
that we gave. Does anybody have any questions for Gary about process or about these particular poems that he read tonight or the book?
Do you write every day, Gary? Do you have like a specific like thing that you do to get your day started every day writing?
I usually, as early as my consciousness tilts toward something sane, which usually means after the second or third cup of coffee. But I write, yes, I do write every day because I lose it if I don't. And sometimes the amount of time I get to write shrinks. Like right now, I belong to an organization called Modesto Stanislaus Poetry Center. And one of the things we do every year, which is say what I've done for the last 6 years, is from December 15th to January 14th, I create a poem prompt a day for 30 days. And at the end of that, people who want to send in a poem can do that. And then I put it in a little chapbook type anthology and sell it for the cost of printing and shipping, because as we know, shipping has gone up.
Yeah.
But so that's cut down on my actual writing time. So I'm now doing revising of stuff I drafted in March and went, what is this? Who wrote this? So yeah, I write every day. Yeah.
Okay. I am interested in your process, and I just want to say for everyone, I'm participating in that Modesto, and Gary, I love the prompts, but also the additional information. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I know some people would prefer me to say, okay, prompt, write a poem about ducks, and and that's it. No, I have a good friend who refers to herself as the minimalist poet and me as the maximalist poet.
Okay.
Because I always, when I'm doing it, I figure everybody's going to write differently to whatever the prompt is anyway. So give them as many options as you can. And you know, the beauty of it, people can write to all of the prompts, some of the prompts, or none of the prompts, or save them up until after the holidays and work on them throughout the year. So anyway,
Where can we find them?
I will get in touch with you.
Okay.
I'll get in touch with you, Christy, so that I can pass that information along. So
Okay.
and those of you who have my email address, that you can email me and I will put you onto it. We've already started, but it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great gift to the community, Gary, and I really appreciate you doing that because it's, you know, like you said, it's a labor of love and it's something that does take away from writing, but I also think it's synergistic because it's our community.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, sort of equal parts labor and love at this point, but I'm trying to get as many of them completed before we head for New Mexico, because I don't want to be doing any of that stuff when I'm there. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for the questions, guys. Did anybody have another question? And Gary, you're gonna have so much fun with the comments when I send them.
Oh, okay, please. Yes.
Any other questions? And I might have to take my video off.
Okay.
Okay, and Cal, I think that's your feedback. Any other questions or comments that people had for Gary? Nope. Okay. We'll move towards open mic. I wrote a list of people's names. I will be pausing at one point for one poet. If somebody did want to read something and have me pause, let me know. Shamala, I have you written down first.
Right.
Okay.
Make sure to unmute.
Yes, I just did. I don't have a title for this yet because it was from a generative workshop on Monday. So one very, very uncooked poem coming up. But and the prompt was hair, anything to do with hair. So here we go. Like ducks, but not ducks. Victorians made the hair of their dead into mourning brooches or rings, wearing strands of memory and being wound around and around their fingers or tucked neatly in the back of a gold jewel. Stories got handed down with those rings and other jewels, myths far more impressive than the long dead hairs themselves that were dry, lifeless husks, evocative not of gleaming, flowing locks, but rather of faded straw. Husks merely, surely never human, and yet rings. Trees have rings too, tell stories in their accreted layers from farthest time of origin into the present. So perhaps can hair, unwound, cross-sectioned, imaged and imagined beneath a microscope's searching eyes. Listen closely, focus the lens, interrogate with hope. Does it speak? Is that your great, great, great so many times grandmother's voice? Better yet, take a hair off your own head, cut it open, examine it under the lens. Does it reveal the layers of your past? Who have you been? Who are you? What do you see?
Oh, I love the idea of taking one of your own hairs. Thank you, Shamala. Yeah, focus the lens. Make sure you check the comments after you've read. So I don't want you to miss what people are drawn to. Christy, I have you next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is a short one. It should be a haiku, but it's not because I can't leave a poem untitled. It's just not in my DNA. So this is called Night, a poem of haiku dimensions. I am a moon, fluxed, the texture of close attentions, salt, birth, light, clay's feet. Thank you.
Of haiku dimensions. That's going to stick with me. Makes you think of how we say, something is haiku adjacent. The texture of close attention. Mike, I have you written down next, and we're going to be celebrating Mike in 2025 with his new and selected.
Okay. Am I there? I grew up, or I was born into the very racist South. And I left when I was quite young. And many years later, a poet friend of mine encouraged me to write something about Texas. And I demurred for many years by saying I left Texas when I was too young to really have that much to say. But there came a time when I had no subject to work with. And so I thought, okay, I'll go back and reflect on that world and see what turns up. And this was the first experience that I recalled. It's called Alma's House. Alma meaning love or soul or spirit, depending on the language. And I thought it was a good coincidence. So this is Alma's house. I keep seeing this muddy, sometimes sun-baked road from Alma's crooked porch on the Negro side of Beaumont, Texas, circa 1955. It's where I stayed when my parents were away. A world of tumble-down shacks and angry young men that Alma kept at bay whenever I was out there. Except for Nick, Alma's husband, who sometimes mowed our lawn, I knew only the women who took me to church in their big white dresses and enormous hats and sang hymns as if they meant them. Nick called me honey and stroked my hair. He was the color of dried tobacco leaves and seemed older and more tired than any man I'd ever known, but also kinder. Maybe he'd once been a great hellraiser, a razor in his pocket and a bottle in a bag, like men I later met on trains, trading swigs and stories and a sense of fate hurtling at us out of the night sky. But there was no devil in Nick in my day, only a kind of fatherly Job. They fed me mustard greens and collard greens and okra, dark aromas that made their house exotic with its tilting floors and peeling linoleum, and let me sleep in their bed and play with Alma's nearly blind little black retriever and Nick's skinny, flea-bitten hound chained to his house out back. They taught me to stay out of the way of the gargantuan geese, the real watchdogs, and to feed the chickens, and visit Ida, the coffee-colored hairdresser next door, who'd do all the neighborhood ladies in her big hardwood living room while everybody laughed and Alma smoked cigarettes, which I'd never seen before. But I never went down that rutted dirt road beyond Alma's house that seemed to go nowhere but into weeds and more collapsing shacks and maybe some swampland nobody wanted. When she died, I was a freshman in college, and Nick wrote asking for money. I sent him $10, half my week's allowance. Sorry, I wrote. Sorry. Thank you.
Damn. Such exacting details. So that really caught me. And I want you to look at the chat section because there was a lot of us writing things that were striking.
I don't see the
I'm
chat
gonna
section.
mute. Yeah. Oh, you don't? Sometimes you have to click on it to see it. On your computer down at the bottom, it may have chat section. Or it could be to, wherever your line is of different details.
Yeah, sometimes it's under more.
Do you see
where I
it yet?
Oh,
find-
more. Okay.
Or you
Yeah, I
wanna-
see more.
And you see more? Yeah, click
Yes,
on
I
more.
see.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay. I'm seeing, oh, yes, chat. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you much.
Yes. I love it when we have 6. And Regina, I'm headed to you, Regina.
Hi, everyone. This has been a wonderful night of poetry. Mike took me off course, just reminded me of so much. I was born in Texas, but I remember very little of it. But I continued to live in the South, in North Carolina. And so you made me think about something that I'd written, just a piece of it. So I'm going to give you a piece of one poem and all of another. I'm going to use this little piece as an epigraph from a poem called Talk to Me. Talk to me about your beautiful blackness. Too many are afraid of the night, having been flung far from distant homes. Tell me of this radiant, velveted, black light. Tracks. Just across the tracks on Railroad Street, there lived a church bricked in holiness, armed with a cavalry of upturned brown faces clearing a path towards promise. Saints they were, stuffing paper brown sacks with Christmas love, candy canes, walnuts, pecans, clumped tight hard candies, and hiding real boiled and colored dipped Easter eggs, giving hints and palming our hands with nickels, dimes, and quarters, but only after we learned our recitations. Easter lilies, pure and white, guide us safely through dark nights. I remember the songs Mama, Auntie, and Grandma taught that lifted us and kept us all. Come along, my friends, come along, get aboard and ride this train. Nothing on this train to lose, everything to gain, even as the rails that split the town shook as the trains rumbled past. Thank you.
Hells yeah. Y'all just doing it again today where I got to be over here getting moved by everybody. I feel like y'all are in conversation with each other. I do. All
Thank
right.
you.
Beautiful. Cal, I have you, remember to unmute.
I am going to share my screen. That's what I'm. Oh, it says you've disabled it. Is that right?
Yeah,
Malika?
don't just, yes, I have to make you a co-host to do that. So you need to let me know beforehand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I don't want the screen share to be open. You know, it's just not a good thing. You're fine,
Okay.
but I've made you
Can
co-host,
I-
so you can do it now.
Can I? Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's see, where am I? Oh, here we go. This is the 12 haiku of Christmas, or 12 days of Christmas haiku. And since there are 12 of them, I'm only going to read them once. A lot of people read haiku twice. First day, our partner sends a partridge in a pear tree, roots drinking rain. Second day of 12, stores hum, consumers cackle, creek sleeps, no doves sing. This is day 3. French hens pick at wet grass. Sun comes sooner, one more time. 4 birds call, 4th day. From air, from earth, from trees, 1 white, 1 black, 2 gray. 5 gold rings around a falling moon. Is it the sun or my poor eyes? 6 goose eggs roll where none were, rainbow of life, so tomorrow is rest. 7 swans swim seas, sons, sisters, souls celebrate, sacred stars sigh, sleep. 8 blessed maids milk love from clouds. Today's for the poor, the peacemakers. This day, 9 ladies bearing fruit, spirit dancing as the tall grass sings. 10 lords leap upon command. A rainbow touches land and we follow. A dozen, 1 went bad, 11 still to pipe the revelation. 12 drums speak order to 12th night's misrule today on Epiphany's Eve. Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Yeah, like check the chat section. I like the a rainbow touches land and we follow. That's awesome, guys. Thank y'all so very much. Is there anybody that I missed that wants to read a poem? Or Bonnie or Stephanie or George? Just making sure, don't feel pressured. We're just glad you're here in our community. So thank y'all for that. Gary, thanks for letting us celebrate. Everybody that read tonight, thanks for kicking ass once again. And I want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Merry
See you on the
Christmas.
flip
Happy
side.
holidays. Yeah. So many great lines
Bye, guys.
tonight.
Thank you,
Yes.
Malika. Happy, finally, rapidly settling
Yes.
where you need to be.
Good luck
So,
tomorrow, Malika.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Back
Thank you
tomorrow.
all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all.